Hello, everybody. Hello and welcome. Here we are, sitting in the close to the creek with the birds, the rabbits, and the squirrels, and the bean. And today I wanted to talk about Panic Fest. Panic Fest is a film festival at Screenland in North Kansas City. This was the 14th year of the fest, starting back in 2012. I remember going to the first one and several over the years, and having a good time every time. The pandemic and school changed that, though. You can see a lot of horror, thriller, and science fiction. Panic Fest is a haven for genre films, and those that love to make them and watch them. But this year, I was able to be something different. Other than just a viewer, I was able to talk to people behind the scenes, learn a little more. Most films and showcases had Q&As at the end, but this year I was able to get a little bit more. I was able to interview people, and I've had some of this on my Substack. If you've been following me on Instagram and other places, I've put it out. You can read some of the reviews and some of the statements I got to get from people, but I wanted to make a video to talk a little bit more in depth about what I learned in a personal way, about being a filmmaker, about someone who has been behind the scenes and wants to work more behind the scenes and make movies. And simply, the thing that will summarize everything, do it. But you want to hear more than simply do it, because that's what we all get to hear from everybody all the time ever. Even if it's great, it's nice to hear it with a little bit more reinforcement. So I have my journal. Being able to see other people's work in a dark theater, shown on your hometown screen, and they're from all over the world, does something special to you, and you get to see things in a new light. When you are able to be in that seat, smell the popcorn, have a cold drink in your hand, be a part of the audience, and see the people behind the scenes at the same time, when you can sit next to the director of the movie and their producer and their lead actor, and even parts of their family to some degree, it does something, and it changes the way that you look at it. It's no longer this big scary thing about how will I have this career in film, but how can I be where they are? I can be like them. They're not that different than me. And it's beautiful in that kind of way. To go to this horror festival where all this blood and viscera, all these different genres are meeting, from thriller to science fiction, they blend together at this festival, and you get to be a part of it, even as an audience member. You learn new things. You shape their experience just as much as they shape yours. You get to meet them. It's personal, and you can be just like them. And I think that that is an amazing thing to learn in that type of way. And one of the things that I learned from them is that, obviously, one, money never hurts. But you need to take a nosedive first, even if that's an investment of time, money, space, reaching out to your benefit. You need to take a step. And it's going to feel like you're jumping into a deep end of a pool, into a bottomless lake, but it's all in the name of doing what you want, doing what you care about. That so much of their effort and time was put into doing these things because they care. And they want you to care. And you should want your audience to care too. So when you put your effort into something that you're working on, your art form, have it be anything, people will respect that to some degree, on some level. And I think Panic Fest proved that to me in a way that I needed. And a big thing that they all talked about was sometimes you're going to fail, big or small. Things will fall apart. Things will go south. But you have to get back up. You have to continue. One stumble does not equal disaster for the rest of your career. There was directors that I got to see that they talked about how they had kids after college, and that changed things. They put filmmaking on the back seat for about 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. But they came back, and now they're at a festival. They made a movie in Washington, and they came back to Kansas City to show it and share it with everybody in that room, so that way everybody could see it, love it, and laugh with them. To be a part of the process, to be there and share it with everybody that wants to be there. They want to make movies, we want to see movies, we want to make movies, they want to see movies. It's all about being a part of that community, and being able to share it starts with doing it. Something that a lot of people have said, that I've heard, I've read, I've seen, is you shouldn't always work with your friends. And this festival, I believe, taught me otherwise. It showed me that you should work with people that you're acquainted with, people that you care about, people that you think are competent enough and you trust to work with you. And I think that's part of the connections that people talk about, is leaving a good impression. But there's no reason why you shouldn't work with your friends, other than maybe there is that chance that something fizzles out, that something goes wrong one way or the other. But it also provides that you're there and you're carrying hands, and vice versa. And that, I think, is a bond that you need when making a movie, personally. If you trust your camera operator, your first AC, to see what you think about, and you trust their vision, what they think about, you can come together and make an amazing, beautiful looking picture. And if you work with your actors and they know what you think and you know how they act, it makes the extension even better. What about having that bond between people means you shouldn't work with each other? You should at least, I believe, be good acquaintances. Once again, I get it, what they mean with connections. You do need to meet new people. You need to expand your horizons, but be friends with them. Find a way. And I'm saying this as a complete novice and not knowing much. I graduated not that long ago. A lot of these movies I wrote reviews for, a showcasing of shorts. I was able to review them before the festival digitally, as well as see them in person in the theater, and I got to interact with a decent amount of the production crews. And these reviews, I put them on Substack. You can read them there. I'll link them in the description. It does a lot. And one thing that I got out of watching and getting to talk to these people was the sense of community that comes with it. To be reached out to personally, to ask, hey, could you review my short film? Could you review this feature film? Please put this into your circle, what you plan to review for the festival. Is you get to meet these people differently than if you were just to walk up to them as an audience member. And I think that's also refreshing to that degree. You learn a lot. You get to interact with them on a different way, especially when you talk about that you're a filmmaker too, and this is what you're doing right now. They understand. They've seen what it's like. They've done it. They've been there. And you get to learn more about the production. Wonderful movie I got to watch called Landlord. They needed a filming location, a apartment building, and they so happened to find an old folks home that was willing to work with them, and they hit it off great from their community. Another wonderful movie I watched called Demonetize. The director-writer was working on it. He was putting it together and realized he wanted more comedic elements, so he reached out to his friend that he's worked with as an improv, being a part of casts, worked on films before, and they put together a more comedic horror script that they were able to put together for the film Demonetize. And I think that means a lot, to have that community behind you as well, to put that forward, to go together. And it's because they simply went forward, talked to each other, met each other where they started, and pushed. And I don't mean to keep hitting it over the head on just do it. You need to do it. You need to ask your community. You need to ask your friends. You need to step forward and see what you can do with what you have and push. And this obviously isn't going to work for every single thing. It's not going to immediately, right off the bat, put you where you want to be. But taking the step forward won't ever make you step back. And I think that that's a wonderful place and a wonderful thing. Being able to see it from their eyes, from the audience's eyes, and being able to dissect a little bit more does a lot for the experience. It does a lot for being there, and it does a lot for learning as a filmmaker. And I think we could all use that and need that. It takes a lot of time, care, and effort. Money never hurts. But the biggest thing is that the biggest thing you can do is step forward to do it. You need to put in the effort so that way then you can go do more. And most people are going to be supportive. Most of these people, even on what I was doing, just reviewing their movies, were extremely encouraging and telling me to go forward and continue to do more. And that's because they heard that, they see that, and you will hear that more and more the more you do things, that the people around you will encourage you to do it. That failure will happen and is technically an option, but the only way to continue and succeed is through doing it, and doing it means failure will happen, big or small. I think I've already said this, I've rehashed this, but it's what I needed to hear, and that's what I think I needed to say. So here we are. Do it. That's what I'm trying now. As a friend once told me, there's only one way. It will succeed because there is no other way. We will succeed because there is no other way. And seeing that in motion is a lot. I don't know how to end a video. Bye.